You crave being held deeply, the kind of holding that goes still and quiet where nothing needs to be said. And yet, when a coworker touches your arm in passing, something in you flinches. A hand on your shoulder from someone you barely know can make your whole body brace. Even though you smiled and pretended it was fine, if this contradiction has ever confused you, if you've ever wondered how you can be someone who longs for touch and also someone who quietly recoils from it, this is not a contradiction at all. It's one of the most coherent things about you. There's a name for what's happening inside you. It isn't coldness. It isn't trauma, at least not necessarily. It isn't that you're bad at closeness or that you're broken in some subtle way you've never been able to explain. What you're experiencing is the difference between attuned touch and unattuned touch, and your nervous system knows the difference before your mind does. Let me explain what I mean. The neuroscientist Stephen Porges, who developed polyvagal theory, spent decades studying how the human nervous system decides, moment by moment, whether we are safe. He calls this process neuroception. It happens beneath conscious thought. Your body scans the environment, the tone of a voice, the pace of a movement, the intention behind a hand, and decides, in milliseconds, whether to open or close. For most people, casual touch registers as neutral. A hand on the shoulder is just a hand on the shoulder. For you, it isn't. Your nervous system is doing something much more complex. It's reading the entire emotional field of the person touching you, their intention, their state, whether they actually see you or whether they're just performing a social gesture, whether the touch is truly connective or whether it's what Porges would call a mismatched signal, a body reaching for you while the person behind it is elsewhere. And when the signal is mismatched, you flinch, not because you're rejecting closeness, because you're rejecting the imitation of closeness. This is where the highly sensitive research of Elaine Aron becomes so important. She found that people with sensory processing sensitivity, a trait that overlaps heavily with INFJs, process incoming information more deeply than others. Not more anxiously, more deeply. Every touch carries information. The temperature of the hand, the pressure, the duration, the emotional temperature behind it, whether it lingers a beat too long, whether it's proprietary or offered. Most people receive touch as touch. You receive touch as a message. And when the message is unclear, or worse, when the message contradicts the gesture, your body does the only intelligent thing it can do. It pulls back. So then why the deep, aching craving for the other kind? Because the other kind, attuned touch from someone who actually sees you, regulates you in a way almost nothing else in your life can. When someone you trust holds you slowly, without agenda, your nervous system moves into what Porges calls the ventral vagal state. Your heart rate softens, your breath deepens, the constant scanning, the low background hum of vigilance that you may have carried your whole life without even knowing it was there. It quiets for a moment. You are not managing anything. You are just held. That kind of touch is rare. And because it's rare, you crave it with an intensity that can feel almost unbearable, not because you're needy, because you've been running your nervous system on your own for so long that when true co-regulation finally arrives, your whole system reaches for it like water, the confusion, the one that makes you feel strange around other people or hard to love, or somehow inconsistent comes from the fact that most people around you cannot tell the difference between these two kinds of touch. They think a hug is a hug. They think reaching for your hand is reaching for your hand. They don't understand that for you, one version restores you and the other version costs you. You are not being difficult. You are being accurate. There's something else worth naming here. INFJs tend to have what Carl Jung called strong introverted intuition, or ni. It means you're always quietly reading beneath the surface. You perceive the underlying intent of a person before they even speak. And this doesn't switch off when someone touches you. If anything, it sharpens. Their inner state travels directly into your body through their hand. So when someone touches you while distracted or while performing warmth, they don't actually feel, or while wanting something from you they haven't named, your body receives all of that. It doesn't just receive the hand, it receives the whole person. This is exhausting, and it's why casual contact, the office hug, the hand on the lower back from an acquaintance, the greeting kiss from someone you don't feel close to, can leave you feeling faintly invaded even when nothing bad has happened. Nothing bad did happen. It's just that your system was asked to process a signal it didn't consent to process. And this is also why, when the right person touches you, a person whose inner state is quiet, present, and genuinely with you, you can melt in a way that surprises even yourself. You didn't know you could soften that much. You didn't know your body was carrying that much. I want to say something clearly. Your body is not overreacting. Your body is reading correctly. The world simply hasn't taught most people that touch is a language and that some of us are fluent in it, while others are still learning the alphabet. You don't need to force yourself to enjoy casual contact. You don't need to work on being more comfortable with hugs from people you barely know. You don't need to apologize for the small step back you take or the way you subtly redirect a conversation so that the physical closeness doesn't happen. Those are not flaws in your social skills. Those are your nervous system honoring its own truth. And your craving for deep, held, quiet touch, the kind that asks nothing of you, is not too much. It is one of the most human things about you. It is your body telling you what it needs in order to come home to itself. If you're in a season where that kind of touch feels far away, I want to gently remind you, the absence of it is not a verdict on you. It's simply that attuned touch requires an attuned person, and attuned people are rare. Waiting for the right closeness is not the same as being closed off. It's an act of self-respect from a body that already knows the difference. You are not inconsistent. You are not cold underneath and needy on top. You are someone whose system reads deeply and who therefore requires touch that is offered deeply. That's all. That's the whole thing. The flinch and the craving are not opposites. They are the same instinct. Both of them are your body saying, I know what real closeness feels like, and I will not confuse it with anything less. If something in this quietly named an experience you've carried without words, you're welcome to stay a while. There will be more reflections here at your own pace. No urgency, no rush. This is a quiet place for deep minds